Anatomy of the excretory apparatus of the kidneys of native domestic animals. Donkey, buffalo, camel, goat, and dog. Excretory apparatus of the kidneys. General consideration. Donkey's kidneys. Buffalo's kidneys. Camel's kidneys. Goat's kidneys. Dog's kidneys. General consideration. The renal pelvis is an expansion that marks the beginning of the proximal ureter. It is situated within the renal sinus, an indentation on the medial border of the kidney. This renal sinus serves as a potential space that contains the ureter, branches of the renal artery and vein, lymphatics, and nerves that enter the kidney at the hilum. Each kidney possesses its own ureter, which functions to transport urine from the renal pelvis to the bladder. The ureters traverse the retroperitoneal space along the roof of the abdominal cavity before entering the pelvic region. Excretory apparatus of the donkey's kidneys. The renal pelvis of the donkey is defined by a dilated structure that serves as the origin of the excretory duct, positioned within the sinus of the kidney. This structure is funnel-shaped, but exhibits a flattened appearance from top to bottom. The renal crest projects into the outer part of the pelvis, forming a horizontal ridge with a concave, free edge. Tubules from the medulla drain into this crest, subsequently flowing into the pelvis. Furthermore, tubules located at the ends of the kidneys connect to two slender, elongated diverticula, referred to as terminal recesses, that extend from the pelvis toward the poles of the kidneys.
A radiograph of the excretory duct system of a right donkey's kidney ventrodorsal view. A photograph of the sagittal section of a donkey's left kidney. Capsula fibrosa. Renal cortex. 3. Corticomedullary junction. 4. Medullary pyramids. 5. Common renal papilla. 6. Renal pelvis. 7. Terminal recesses. 8. Ureter.
Excretory apparatus of the buffalo's kidneys. In buffaloes, the renal pelvis is absent. After the ureter passes through the hilus, it bifurcates into two primary branches, each directed toward the corresponding pole of the kidney. These primary branches further divide into a varying number of secondary divisions, generally ranging from 14 to 17. Altogether, these secondary divisions comprise approximately 38 to 40 funnel-shaped renal calyces, both large and small. Remarkably, around 75% of the total calyces are classified as large.
A corrosion cast depicting the excretory duct system of a right buffalo's kidney, dorsal view. 1. Ureter. 2 and 3. Primary lateral branches of the ureter. 4. Secondary divisions of 2 and 3. 5. Renal calyces. A radiograph of a left buffalo kidney shows the excretory duct system, ventrodorsal view. 1. Ureter. 2. Cranial primary branch of the ureter. 3. Caudal primary branch of the ureter. 4. Secondary divisions of the ureter. 5. Renal calyces.
Excretory apparatus of the camel's kidneys. Within the renal sinus, the ureter was dilated, forming a crescent-shaped main cavity of the pelvis that aligned with the kidney's long axis and curvature. The renal pelvis exhibited curvature at both the cranial and caudal poles of the kidney. The smooth wall of the main cavity was adjacent to the adipose connective tissue of the renal sinus, which encases the ureter. The medullary pyramids converge from the corticomedullary junction, created a thick, extensive renal crest, papilla renalis communis, that extended into the main cavity of the renal pelvis. From this cavity, a total of 10 to 12 radiating collateral recesses were distributed throughout each dorsal and ventral renal half. The interlobar vessels traverse the recesses of the renal pelvis.
A corrosion cast of a camel's left kidney illustrates the shape and arrangement of the excretory duct system, correlating with the main branches of the left renal artery, dorsal view. A radiograph of a left camel's kidney illustrates the excretory duct system, dorsoventral view. 1. Left ureter 2. Renal pelvis 3. Walls of collateral recesses 4. Collateral recesses.
Excretory apparatus of the goat's kidneys. Upon entering the renal sinus, the ureter appears dilated, creating a central, elongated renal pelvis. The wall of this primary cavity is situated closely to the adipose connective tissue that encases the ureter within the renal sinus. From the pelvic cavity, there are typically 9 to 12 radiating recesses throughout the renal medulla. These recesses connect to the main collecting ducts and open into the renal pelvis. Furthermore, the interlobar vessels traverse these recesses of the renal pelvis, located between the medullary pyramids.
A photograph of the sagittal section of a goat's kidney that captures its internal structure. The image highlights: C. Renal cortex, MP. Medullary pyramids, CP. Common renal papilla, RP. Renal pelvis, U. Ureter, CR. Collateral recesses. 111. Renal pyramid. A radiograph of the left goat's kidney displays the excretory duct system. A. Ventrodorsal view.
Excretory apparatus of the dog's kidneys. The renal pelvis acts as the proximal expansion of the ureter and has a funnel-shaped structure that collects urine from the kidneys' collecting ducts before transferring it into the ureter. In dogs, each kidney features a single pyramid, meaning there are no calyces connected to the renal pelvis. Instead, the renal pelvis extends into the renal parenchyma both dorsally and ventrally through a series of curved diverticuli, which typically number between 18 and 20 collateral recesses. Furthermore, these pelvic recesses are distinguished by grooves that trace the path of the interlobar vessels.
A photograph depicting a sagittal incision made through a fresh left kidney of a dog, illustrating its internal structure. Cf. Capsula fibrosa. C. Renal cortex. CMJ. Corticomedullary junction. 110. Medullary pyramids. M. Renal medulla. RC. Renal crest. RP. Renal pelvis. A radiograph of the left dog's kidney displays the excretory duct system. We are looking forward to seeing you in the next moment.